Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube! My name is SeaRaptor and it's time for more Scuttlebutt. This week's game is brought to you by Tier 10 Premium Japanese Destroyer, Hayate. Now, Hayate is currently in testing. We've just gotten access to this ship. Offensively, she sits in this kind of middle ground between Harugumo and Shimakaze at this tier. She has the same guns and gun layout as Shimakaze, but only on a 4-second reload and a 10-second turret traverse time. Best in class, by the way, for these Japanese 127mm dual turrets. Which, if you've played up the line, you know how accurate these turrets are and what the Alpha Strike is like, but you're always wishing for more reload. Well, guess what? Hayate has it. In exchange, she loses a torpedo launcher. She has one less torpedo launcher than Shimakaze, and she's locked into the torpedoes, the 12-kilometer Type 93 Mod 3. She does not get to choose her torpedo loadout the way Shimakaze does. I ran this particular ship in this game with basic firing training, torpedo armament expertise, and torpedo tube modification 3. Stacking all that up lowers her torpedo reload to just under 2 minutes, and leaves her with about a 3.6-second reload time on the main battery base before any of the adrenaline rush kicks in. You could, in theory, build this ship to focus it all in on the guns, but I was intentionally trying to find a happy medium to buff both armaments, right? The Torps get the bigger buff from upgrade slot 6 because they have the potential for a much bigger impact on the game, and you're going to see that as you watch. Anyway, so enjoy. What's going on in shooty boats this week? Well, first up, we have our regular plug for the NA Forum contest of the week. Links down below. All you have to do is earn 7 different kinds of ribbons in a single game, post a screenshot in the thread, and you'll win 5 St. Patrick's Day camos and a chance at 7 days of Warships Premium Time. And if you're grinding out a new line, Premium Time is the single best investment you can make in the game. What else? I've set my Twitch schedule up all the way through the end of September. So if you want to know when the next couple of Fletcher Fridays are, or what weekdays I'm going to be streaming, because I do have to bounce around sometimes, all of that's on my events page. I've got some vacation coming up over Labor Day and at the very end of September, so there's some holes in that schedule. That's intentional. I have just forgotten, okay? But anyway, every stream I plan to do between now and the end of September is on my events page. I have to give a huge shout out and thank you to No Zoop for You, who is basically responsible for helping me grow the channel by about 100 subscribers in the past week alone with his video that he did last Friday with a shout out to myself and Volgar. And 100 people is a huge chunk of the way towards that 1,000 subscriber milestone that I'm working on. So I really appreciate it, and I want to give him a kind of a verbal and YouTuber high five here for the help. It is greatly appreciated. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I don't normally ask for people to help me build the channel, because I figure if I just keep doing what I'm doing, word gets around, these things will simply happen, you know, naturally over time. But I'm going to ask this once. If you've got friends or colleagues or clanmates that play the game, that spend any time looking at YouTube, kill time on their lunch break or their phone watching videos, I'd really appreciate it if you send them a link to the channel. I realize not everybody's going to like my stuff. Not everybody's going to subscribe. That's fine. My biggest difficulty is simply getting the word out. I was talking to Iro Gray last week, and I made a point. I said, you know, when Zoop or iChase or Flambass or somebody, they post a video to YouTube, it's seen by thousands. When Zath or I do it, it's seen by dozens. And I do what I can. Like, I put links on Twitter and Facebook and forums. I don't do Reddit yet. I haven't gotten to that level of self-promotion, but I may start trying that for select videos and see what kind of traction it gets. But anyways, guys, I would love it if you would help me grow the channel a little bit, and I'll just leave it at there. If you don't want to, that's fine. But if you would, it would be greatly appreciated. What else is going on? Of course, it's patch week. 8.6 is now live around the globe as the new French arc is kicking in. There's a new directive set up. Of course, we've got directives each week now that'll earn you a bunch of standard of these French destroyer crates with a chance to drop a mission that'll get you one of the new Tech Tree French destroyers before the line officially releases next month in patch 0.8.7. This has become standard practice. This is Wargaming's way of decluttering the low-tier queues on release days for new ship lines. I don't know why it took me so long to realize this, but if you remember way back when they released like Russian cruisers and the German battleship line was the big one, right? Like, you tried to queue up a tier 3 battleship on that patch day, and there were 500 battleships in the tier 3 queue. Wargaming has obviously realized that this is not necessarily great for patch days and is a big clutter. So this whole, shotgun start system where everybody has a random chance to get a mission that kind of kickstarts them up the line is their way of helping kind of spread the load across the tiers when a new line drops. And while I know for a long time I've scratched my head, is like, we're all complaining about kind of a lack of content and you're letting us skip over, like, what are you doing? But in that instance, it kind of makes sense, because sitting around for 10 minutes in the Tier 3 battleship queue is no fun for anybody, so I get it. It took me a while to understand why, though, so that's kind of why I'm explaining it, because maybe some of you didn't realize it. I certainly didn't. Anyways, if you want to invest money, you can invest in premium versions of these containers. They have a little bit higher chance to drop these missions. They gave us 15 of these for free. That video is posted elsewhere on the channel. I'll put a card in and a link down below. I didn't have any luck. I got 0 of these missions out of the 15 premium crates that I opened. So I guess the drop rate's not that awesome. But if you really want to roll the dice, hey, it's your money. You do you. What else in this patch? There's a new map. A new season of Ranked starts next Wednesday at Tier 9. And clan battles return about a week later on Thursday, August 8th. Yes, they're running clan battles and ranked simultaneously. No one is very happy about this. My suspicion, they won't tell us this. And I'm not even sure nobody's explicitly asked. They might tell us if we explicitly ask. My suspicion is this is a test, right? They want to see if we overload the community with all of this stuff, what's the impact, right? Do people prefer one or the other? Are they willing to sacrifice one for the other? What's the impact? So, and honestly, if you're going to try something like this, summer is probably the best time to do it. In theory, folks have got more time. I realize we're getting kind of late into summer, but also it's also historically when populations are lowest, because more people are either out on vacation or just out enjoying the weather or whatever. Of course, if you're in Europe this week, you're probably not enjoying the weather, but, well, get an air conditioner. What else is going on in this patch? There's been some balance changes. They've buffed Tier 9 and 10 German cruisers Rund and Hindenburg. Yay! Small nerfs to Tier 10 French cruiser Henri Quatrième and Tier 10 Russian destroyer Grozovoy, and a mix of other little balance changes. I'll let you guys read the patch notes. I'm not going to spell them all out for you. Lastly, and this is a big one, so I want you to pay attention here. AA mechanics have changed yet again. And the way what's happening is this. Planes now take damage more regularly. The total DPS of individual ship auras has not changed, but they've changed how quickly that damage will tick onto that last plane in a squadron. This is a notable change to ships with a lot of their AA DPS invested in their long-range auras, like, say, a Des Moines or an Atlanta. So if you've been unhappy with how the AA on those ships has felt, take them out in the next, over the weekend, in the next week or so, give them a try, see what you think. Because what was happening was the long-range AA auras ticked slower for bigger hits. But the trick was, if I ducked a plane in and out of that aura before that tick loaded, before that tick had time to fire, let's say it was every 5 seconds, just off the top, pick a number, right? If I touched the plane aura, and then got out before that 5-second timer ticked down, I didn't take that damage. What they've done is they've decreased the size of the hit, and now it ticks more regularly, so the planes are more likely to take damage just by ducking into the aura, even however briefly they are there. What else? We have another active community-run tournament going on. Preparations going on. Been announced here on NA. What we're calling Fight for the Flagship, or F4F for short. We kind of needed something fancier to call it than the North American Invitational, but that's basically the gist of what this tournament is. We're running this in 2 stages. Day 1 is a Swiss play-in stage. We have unlimited sign-ups. You want to play, you put together a team, you come sign up, you come play on day 1. We'll play, I think right now we have it scheduled for 7 rounds of Swiss, which is the assumption that we're going to have. I think that's probably perfect for 16 teams or something. We'll reserve the right to adjust that, but plan on 3 or 4 hours to come play in the Swiss. And if you make it to the top 4, you'll move on to Day 2. Day 2 is the main event. The 4 teams that came out of the Swiss bracket will then square off in a double elimination bracket with the 12 teams that the organizers, including myself, have invited to participate. This includes teams that you're probably familiar with from either clan battles or King of the Sea, like Devastating Strike, ARP, PWP, of course, our reigning King of the Sea champions. Like, these guys have been invited to come participate, and I'm happy to say that all 12 of the teams that we invited have accepted. We had a list of alternates, but we didn't need to go there. All matches at this point are best of 1. So these teams are going to square off for 1 game, and the winner moves on, and the loser drops down into the loser's bracket until they lose again. Once you lose in the loser's bracket, you're out. That's how double elimination works. Prizes and everything are listed in the portal article. I'll link that in here. But again, this is 8v8, Tier 8, no carriers at all. We're skipping aircraft carriers this time. The unfortunate thing, of course, is obviously we're running this at the same time as clan battles and ranked because we don't get any advance notice of the dates that Wargaming intends to run in-game events like this. So that means we've managed to schedule something on top of them. I mean, we basically just have to pick a date and hope for the best, and this time we rolled badly. It sucks, but we can't change it. Day 1 will be Saturday, the 10th of August, and then Day 2, the main event, will be on Saturday, the 17th of August. The current plan is for me to drive up to Austin on that Saturday, the 17th. I'll do a live cast from the new Wargaming offices in Austin. They've changed office buildings. They're still in Austin. From the new facility there, much like we've done in the past for King of the Sea. It'll be a little less polished, I think, a little different because King of the Sea, when I go up there for a finals cast, we have 2 matches to do. It's simple, straightforward. We know who's playing and everything like this. This is going to be a little more fluid because Day 2 starts with, 8 teams in the winners. 8 matches running concurrently in the winners bracket, and then we immediately drop down to, the losers bracket and the winners bracket, and so there's a constantly shifting number of games. So it's going to be, and the games will all finish at different times. It'll be a little more fluid. But I'm confident that we'll be able to handle it and keep our production value where we want it. So things will be good. Definitely tune in on that. I'm going to put the link to the portal article down below. There's a link in that article that you can remind yourself about the event on Twitch. So definitely come tune in. If you would be so kind, we would greatly appreciate it. What else? Devblog posts. Of course, yes, devblog posts. We had a few of those this week, just a few. Of course, when I ran Scuttlebutt 29 last week, we only knew the first 7 ships in the Italian cruiser line. That's all that had been announced. Last Friday, after Scuttlebutt went live, the RU community stream ran with the announcement of the remaining Italian cruisers. And then a single dev blog post earlier this week kind of tied all of that information up into one place. The highlights of what we didn't cover last week is simply this. The Tier 8, 9, and 10 ships in the tech tree all mount 203mm guns. Tier 8's Amalfi mounts 9 barrels and 3 triple turrets. Tier 9's Brindisi mounts 12 barrels in 4 triple turrets. And Tier 10's Venezia mounts 15 barrels in 5 triple turrets. Yes, you heard correctly. The Tier 10 is essentially a 203mm version of how 155 Mogami is laid out. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. One notable weakness of these ships, and we didn't really know this until they posted all the stats, but that their maximum AA range is only 4.6 kilometers. These guys are not going to be much good for fleet defense with a short AA range and a total lack of access to DFAA as a consumable. So these things should be pretty soft targets for carriers if they get caught alone on a flank somewhere. In my mind, that's going to make them hard sells for King of the Sea. I have a really hard time imagining a KOTS team investing in one of these ships, but maybe they'll find a home in clan battles, where right now, carriers are still not allowed, so who knows, we'll see. Anyways, more cruisers coming, yay, this will be fun. I love cruisers in this game. They're my preferred play style, and more cruisers is never a bad thing, so looking forward to this. What else? The long-rumored, but not officially confirmed Pan-European nation was formally announced last week. The existing Tier 7 destroyer, Polish destroyer Błyskawica, will be moved into this branch, where she will be joined by Tier 9 destroyer Friesland, currently in testing, and Tier 5 battleship Vidibus Unitas, which we haven't seen on production testing in 4 or 5 months. My expectation is that they'll handle the national flag on these ships just like they do on the Pan-Asian tree. You'll have the choice of flying the Pan-European flag or mounting the actual national flag of the ship in question. Me, I prefer the national flag. I've gone through on all my Pan-Asian ships and set that up. It gives the ship a lot more character, but you do you. Lastly, they've also announced the long-awaited improvements to the autopilot function. Carrier players have been begging for this for a while, and honestly, this has really been needed even before the rework hit. The waypoint system simply does not take into account the speed and turning radius of your ship. Well, now it will. You'll be able to see that right on the mini-map when you set waypoints, so that you'll be able to know, am I going to clear this island? Am I going to be able to turn around it? Am I going to be able to fit into this channel? Whatever. It's going to make navigating narrow passages with the mini-map and autopilot system a hell of a lot easier. I'm looking forward to this. And that's it, guys. That's all the news of the week. So there you go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this game with Hayate. This kind of came down to the wire. We had to we had to basically kind of claw it back here towards the end. We were down, we got back up. I had a really nice torpedo salvo there on the Kremlin to wipe him out, and then it was a matter of just trying to keep them from getting back into the caps so that we could stay ahead. The Alaska wisely stayed off to the north to just hide and not die. I did the same thing here along the northwestern edge of the B cap, and we came away with a win and a pretty nice damage total here. This was my very first game in Hayate. I took her out, and this immediately was my result. So this ship is pretty comfy. I like her. I think she's a nice blending of the Japanese torpedo strengths and the buffs. The 127s are really nice. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be safe out there. See you around the channel, and I'll catch you next time.